Today gets interesting for Christmas movie reviews because I am reviewing the first out of the six Christmas Carols movies this week from today to December 23rd. And of course, if you don't know what Christmas Carol is, of course, the iconic Christmas story about Ebenezer Scrooge, and selfish old man who on Christmas Eve gets visited by Jacob Marley, or technically haunted, or Jake and who was his diseased friend, and he tells him that three ghosts will haunt him, and three ghosts start visiting him. Goes to Christmas past where he shows Scrooge about his past that led him to become a big jerk, and then we got to Ghost of Christmas Present, who shows Scrooge about what's going on recently, and where he's a dinner with a family of Tiny Tim, and then later he gets visited by the ghost of Christmas yet to come, the frightening, the haunting ghost that points at him about and without saying a word tells him about his death and how his death no one will care about his death. And Scrooge tries to tell the ghost that if he can be good, and after his visits, he becomes a happy and nice old man and nice person, and and carries Tiny Tim and going, God bless everyone. Um, and so that's the story of A Christmas Carol. And so in this case, today's review is the 2009 Christmas Carol starring Jim Carrey as Ebenezer Scrooge and directed by Robert Zemeckis of Polar Express. And I watched this movie before back in Christmas Eve 2022. And I'll be honest with you, I thought it was okay in the most underwhelming way. I felt a little about the movie. I then found it to be interesting. Um, but watching it today, it is much better than I remember. I don't think it's great, but it had a lot of good things in it. One, I thought Jim Carrey was an interesting Scrooge. It feels like a weird choice, especially since if this movie would be in live action. But since it's a motion capture, it doesn't 100% matter. And there are and the face of Scrooge has some Jim Carrey feel to it, though mostly Scrooge, of course. And he plays the role very seriously and dramatic. Then until at the end where he is cheerful and happy. But he's mostly tragic and sympathetic and mean and selfish and cranky personality as Ebenezer Scrooge. And I think he did a very solid job in the role. I thought he did a good job in it. And I thought the animation was something because on the one hand, the Polar Express animation didn't bother me, though it was noticeable that the character designs, especially on the faces, look uncanny. But it's more noticeable with this movie. A lot of characters' faces from Miss Double, that's her name, and her husband. Both especially at the scene where Ebenezer Scrooge is tiny and being run away from the mice. Both of them the Miss and Mr. Devil look really ugly and uncanny. I had to look away from them because I was like, ugh. And some of the character designs look weird, especially the Ghost of Christmas Past. Not only does his design look bland, it's just a flaming ghost, but his face, it looks so laughable. It looks really badly put together. And especially on the scene where he was switching faces before Scrooge attacks him, kinda. It doesn't look right, honestly. And Jacob Marley's also doesn't look good. The effects on him when he's floating is not rendered well, and his face is also uncanny. Though I admit there's one funny moment at his scene. It was when his jaw was broken, but then tried to fix it, but then he closed his mouth until he fixed it. I thought that was a funny moment, Marley. Um, and but even though Christmas Past looks bland, I thought the design of Presents looked okay. Probably because he has a more unique design and has a more fun personality where he is constantly laughing until he dies because he's a ghost and laughs until he becomes a skeleton and then disappears. um and of course the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come looks intimidating, haunting, of course. And I'm not gonna lie, the scenes where the sequences with Scrooge and the Ghost of Christmas's ghost are pretty cool when he is like when they're flying through like the setting of when they were gonna go that takes place to see for Scrooge to see the events. I thought sequences where he like flying or at the scene where he's running away from the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come with his horses. I thought those are fun sequences. Those are awesome sequences. I really enjoyed those moments. I thought they were very cool. And I thought the when he becomes happy is funny, is entertaining. Um and I thought overall it is better than I remember. It plays it straightforward like a traditional Christmas Carol movie, and but it does still respects the original novel. Um, and I thought it was better than I remember. So what are your thoughts on the 2009 version of A Christmas Carol starring Jim Carrey? Let me know in the comments below. Merry Christmas, Jim Carrey, and stay tuned tomorrow where we say, what do they call you, Scrooge? Wheels?